Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another Minecraft video, and in this one we're going to take a look at 10 ways to protect your items. Now this is very important for those of you who play on multiplayer servers, because as I'm sure you've already noticed, sometimes people aren't particularly nice, and occasionally there's certain individuals that would rather steal your stuff than go out and gather it for themselves. Now the way that this video is going to work is I'm going to show off 5 simple methods to protect your items, and I'm also going to show off 5 slightly more complicated redstone methods that are a tiny bit more fancy but also a little bit more tricky to build. I think it should be fairly interesting, so let's crack on. Now of course, because this is a mumbo jumbo video, we're going to be getting things started with a redstone design, and this thing right here is really quite cool. It's a relatively old concept, but I've rebuilt it and redesigned it to make it a lot more compact, and as you can see, it's absolutely tiny. I mean, this thing is pretty much pocket sized, and at the front all we've got is a double chest and an item frame, and that item frame is incredibly important, because if we take a look inside the chest, no items on the inside. If a thief walked up to this, they'd be like, well, that's completely pointless, I'm going to move on to the next chest. But if you spin the item just a little bit in the item frame, you can see it begins to fill up. We've got a bunch of diamond blocks filling in, we can grab a few of those, and then when we want to hide them back away, we just spin the item back around, and they'll drop back down into the hoppers and into the back of the system. To build this thing is really quite simple. We want to get things started with a 4x6 area and a handful of redstone components, and we're going to chuck a dropper facing upwards like this, then run hoppers running into the back of it just like that, then sort of wrap it round to make this sort of shape here. Then you want to place a double chest on the top. That's going to be your item elevator, and that's going to be the thing that removes the items from the chest. And then you want to place a 2x2 area behind it, an item frame on this block here, and chuck any old item on the inside. Then behind that block, you just want to place a block right here with a comparator taking an output from that item frame, and you should see that our comparator will switch on, and we're going to run that redstone output down these 2 blocks here using redstone dust. Then you want to place a couple blocks like this and a block up like that with a repeater right there and redstone dust running into that block. Then you want to place a block here and a block up like this with a repeater running into this block with a redstone torch on the side, and that is to stop the items from traveling into this dropper, because then they'll be accessible from the front, and that will be really quite bad. Now to do the redstone clock for your item elevator, you want to create a 2x2 area, a comparator like this, redstone running around like that, chuck your comparator into subtract mode to create the redstone clock. Then you want to place 2 blocks up like this, a block down here and a block right there with a repeater running into that block and redstone dust on top of both of those. Moving away from the redstone side of things, we have got this little fella right here, the ender chest. Now once you place items inside the ender chest, they are yours and yours alone. No one else is able to access them. If someone comes into your base and destroys your ender chest and steals them, yes, it is a bit of a bummer because someone has stolen your ender chest and they're pretty expensive, but other than that, your items are safe, they're perfectly fine. You've just got to get yourself another ender chest to be able to access them. Hiding your items using redstone seems to work quite nicely, and keeping your items secure inside an ender chest is always a good plan, but what if you want to show the thief who's boss? What if you want to try to stop the thief from returning again by teaching them a bit of a lesson, perhaps killing them or causing them great injury? Well, you can build something that looks a little bit like this. We've got a chest with a block on the top. Obviously, we cannot access this chest because the block is on top of it, which prevents the chest from opening. If we break this block, however, you can see that plenty of things happen. The blocks retract, the potions get dispensed, there is potion of harming and also potion of poisoning. That's going to do quite a bit of damage, I have to say. To build this thing, you want to get things started with a 5x5 area, and the first thing we're going to do is chuck 2 blocks up like this, a chest right there with a block out the back, and then a sticky piston facing across here with a redstone block on its face. Then underneath the redstone block, you want to place a block right there, and a dispenser facing in this direction on both sides with redstone dust on top of both of those. Then on the sides of all your dispensers, you want to place redstone torches right there, and redstone torches right there with blocks on top of that, and that is what is going to cause the rapid fire effect, because these are all torch burnout clocks, which are very, very quick, and they'll launch all of the potions extremely fast. Now to do your block retraction, you want to place a sticky piston facing upwards with a block on top, and do the same thing on the other side just like that. And then you want to place these blocks in this sort of formation here on both sides, with redstone dust on both of these and repeaters running into both of your pistons just like that, which will be retracting the blocks. And then to activate that, you just want to place a block right here with redstone dust and a redstone torch on the side of this block right here. And as you can see, those pistons will extend, covering everything up. So then you can place in all these blocks, place in your block above your chest, and then place a redstone block on top of this one that will arm this piston. So do not break this block, otherwise you will activate the mechanism. Then you can chuck the potions inside your dispensers and you're good to go. Heading back over to the simpler side of Minecraft now, we have got the oldest trick in the book, and that is hiding your chest behind paintings. Here we have a 2-high painting, and if we just walk on through, you can see we've gained access to a completely new area. Obviously, there's not too much going on back here, but we've got 4 chests that we have access to, and that means that we can store away plenty of secret items. But you can go as crazy as you like. Have an entire base down here, potentially even a bat cave if you really wanted to. Anyway, we just walk back out, and nobody would even know that there's anything there. Now the way that we build this one is very simple. We chuck in a few fence gates like this and then place a painting on the front of them, and luckily we got the 2 high ones straight away, and that gives us a completely secret entrance. Awesome. The piston translocation bug is one of those bugs that is really very useful, and even though it's technically not meant to be in the game, it's being kept in the game because it's extremely handy. It allows us to create really simple elevators and also transport items in certain ways, and it also allows us to do things like this. We flick this lever right here, our piston will start firing, and now we can click through this piston and actually gain access to this large chest back here. Now the way that we're doing it is just using a very simple redstone clock that causes this piston to extend and retract, and when the piston retracts it actually goes invisible very briefly, allowing us to click through it and gain access to this little thing. To build this is extremely simple. We just need a 3x5 area. You want to place a block up like this with a regular piston facing in this direction, and then a few blocks traveling off in this direction with a comparator, redstone, and then redstone running into that block. Chuck your comparator into subtract mode, and this block right here is going to be your input. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to use a lever on that block, but I'd suggest using some form of hidden activation device elsewhere in your base, or perhaps even just having a lever that switches on from another area. But anyway, flick the lever, that turns this into a redstone clock, turn it off, and it will toggle off the mechanism. So now all you have to do is chuck in your double chest, and you've got plenty of space for loads of secret items. This one probably goes without saying, but hide them somewhere. Bit like a pirate hides his treasure, you should hide your treasure as well. Just go up to any old random block inside the world, just take it out, dig a few blocks down, chuck down your chest, place the block on top, and then press F3 and take note of the coordinates. Another redstone design for you now, and that is the dummy base system. So here we have a bunch of chests, and next to it we've got ourselves a dispenser. Inside that dispenser, we've got a bunch of TNT. Now this is just a demonstration, it's just an example of what you could hook this up to. You could use perhaps a trapdoor or some potion dispensers, or of course a TNT dispenser, because let's face it, blowing things up is always pretty hilarious. So inside these chests, a few of them have got some redstone on the inside, and if we try to steal any of this redstone, you will see that the TNT is dispensed, it would land on the floor, and it would end up blowing up the player. So instead of doing a tutorial for this design, I'm going to try my best to explain to you how it works, so that you can build it for yourself. So out the front here we've got our chests, out the back we've got our comparators, and a few of the chests have got a comparator output. So this chest right here has got a comparator output, this one's got a comparator output, this one's got a comparator output, this one's got a comparator output. You sort of get the idea. And any of the ones with the comparator outputs are the ones that are hooked up into the system, and they're like our dummy chests, the ones that are going to cause the issues. Now inside these chests we've got 4 stacks of items, and that gives a signal strength of 2. If any items are removed from the chest, then the signal strength drops, the redstone torch activates, it runs into this line right here, which runs it into our trap. So the secret to this one is, you have a bunch of chests inside your storage system, a few of them are hooked up to comparators, chuck 4 stacks inside the chest, and then run it into an OR gate, and you've got yourself a working system. The first design that we featured in today's video was like a hidden item system. You couldn't see the items inside the chest, but there was clearly a chest there. But what if we could hide the chest using redstone? Well, here is a redstone torch key accessible chest. Place down the redstone torch, the block is moved, and we have access to the storage out the back. Now the redstone for it is incredibly simple, and it's a design that I've featured a bunch of times on my channel. This is where we place the redstone torch, and then underneath this block we've got a sticky piston facing downwards with the redstone block on its face. This repeater is set to 4 ticks, it runs into this redstone dust with the sticky piston facing upwards that retracts that block right there, and that gives us access to that chest out the back. Really very simple, and you can build it using this screenshot. So hiding the chest seems to work quite nicely, but what if you want to add some security? Well, here we have a card reader system. Now what you have to do is you have to get the exact correct item to be able to gain access to this chest right here. And the best part is you can rename the items to add an extra layer of security. I mean, the number of possible combinations for this would be absolutely through the roof, ridiculous, hundreds of billions of thousands. But anyway, I have named my item something. I mean, you don't have to pay attention to that in the slightest. I would suggest ignoring it, but you might want to consider it if you really want to. And you want to chuck the item inside the dropper, flick the lever, and as you can see, our block gets moved and we have access to the chest. If you flick the lever once again, the block gets replaced and the item goes back into the dropper. And if we chuck any old item in here, you can see when we flick the lever, absolutely nothing happens. Which I think is a really awesome redstone design, and as you can see, it's incredibly simple as well. Always good. To build this one, you want to get things started with a 2x5 area, and the first thing we're going to do is go a couple blocks like this and place a dropper facing in this direction with a hopper running back down into its face and a lever on the back of that dropper right there. Then running out from the hopper, you want to place a comparator running out into a block with a block out like this, redstone dust running up just like that with a redstone torch next to that hopper. Then you want to place a sticky piston facing in this direction with a block next to it and redstone dust on top of that block. And there we have it. That is all of the redstone completed. Now you just have to chuck the items that you want inside this hopper right here. So these are going to be your secret access keys, and you want to place them in this formation. So 4 items going across like that, and then 18 up at the front. And that's everything done. Then you can just chuck your chest down at the bottom, and you're all finished. And for the final technique of today's video, it's very important. This is definitely the best way to keep all of your items secure. You should give them all to me. Just throw them towards me, and I promise you, I will keep them safe. You know, there's no one better than me. I mean, look at me, I'm a trustworthy guy, okay? Just give them to me. I will keep them safe. Don't ask for them back though, because I might not have them. So there we have it, ladies and gents. That rounds up today's video on 9 useless ways of keeping your items safe, and one very, very, very important way to keep your items safe. Yeah, just hand them all over to me. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button. If you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.